What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Shauno again and I'm back for some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be going through our round 8 team, how we did, what we're thinking about trades for next week, and our vice captain and captain choices for next week. So let's get straight into it. We had a pretty good score this week, 2,489. I'm very happy with that. Again, the top score was over 2,700 with a few very large scores, especially large captain scores. But for us, 2,489, we're very happy with that. That's consistently a couple of good scores in a row now. And that's what Supercoach, if you want to go up the ranks, it's all about consistency and getting some good scores, back to back. So it's in the top 3%. My average score per round is 2,164, which at this stage of the season is not too bad considering all the buys. That's 9,651 places better than last week. So with that in mind, it means it's a much better score than last week. And top 3%, you always got to be happy with that, right? So now we have a total score of 17,311, which is in the top 2%. We're almost in that top 1%. We're pushing for that top 1%. We're going to have to see if we can get there or not. Team value, 12,535,000. So pretty much another primo on top of what we started with. Season rank, 3,572, which is up 2,673 places. So that's a lot of places to jump, really. When you are that close, when you're up the top end. So very, very happy with this week. Very, very happy. In my draft, you can see my drafts over here. We won all except this bottom one, which I don't really expect to win this bottom one because we actually got the time wrong of the draft and we joined halfway through, and half the players that were automatically picked for us and half of them were already injured. And we're actually doing reasonably well considering we have a team that started off with half the team being injured and pretty much one or two primos in the whole team. We're actually doing quite well on that one, but we don't expect to win it. A little, if you just want a quick mention about drafts, I highly recommend that if you're going to do a draft, don't just join somebody else's draft. Make your own. Pick, because a lot of the drafts, I think people they pick either too many teams or too many players, which make it hard to do or not as fun for the drafting process. Make your own draft and then put your leagues up. If you want to fill it up, put your league codes up in on Facebook, on Supercoach sites, or on Fan Footy, or those type of things, and you will fill your league up pretty easily. Yes, the people who are joining your league are probably going to be pretty good, but you will fill them up. All right, let's have a look at the team and see how we did, crew. So let's see how the players did. Not so much how I did, but how the players did. So Whitfield, 111. I was very happy with this. This was unexpected. It was at the SCG. We know Whitfield plays better when he has a bigger ground to run around on. So I was very happy with this. Good on you, Whitfield. Zorko, 95, was looking pretty bad. I have to admit, I was a bit worried that it was going to be more like a 75, but he seagulled it up a little bit in the last quarter or so and managed to get to 95. Roberts a little bit down at 82. This game was a bit of a Sydney-sided game. One-sided, a Sydney-sided game. And so probably the ball wasn't down the back line as much as it could have been. As you can see from Bice as well, only got 49. So I think that's just a case of the ball not being down there, not them being out of form or anything like that. Bailey Dale. All right, so we just thought about trading Bailey Dale. If you watched my trade video last week, we considered trading Bailey Dale, but we didn't. And he heard us thinking about it, and he went and scored a 124. Now, we did discuss why we didn't trade him, because he's got a good run of grounds that he does well at coming up. So he repaid the faith and gave us a 124. It's very nice. Zach Reed is the rookie that keeps on giving. smashing out 100 after a 90 last week and now 100 this week. He's kicked that cash gen back in the pants, and he's rolling on. And if he has a few more games, he might even get up towards 400k. Trainer, beautiful, 82. That's why we kept him. That's the kind of scores we're looking for. Him as well. They both, if we have a quick look, Reed, -3, break even now, and Trainer's got a break even of 4. So both of those have kicked in. And we got Carroll at 37. Just a quick mention, if you went Bustlinger early and you got him as a sub and you didn't manage to get him off, I feel very sorry for you. That's why I was a bit worried, as we discussed in the trades as well. It's always a bit dangerous going early on anybody. And if you're going to go early, you really need to be watching those team sheets and hoping that you got a way to back out of it. So very sorry for anyone out there who got stuck with that. I'm glad I decided to stick with the two boys, Trainer and Reed, and I was planning to get Bustlinger this week, but obviously that's thrown a spanner in the works. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do now. I think we're just going to keep these two guys. They've re-triggered their cash gen. We're just not going to get Bustlinger. Even if he's named on the field this week, we're just going to keep these two guys and let them. I think Reed's probably got 50k in him and Trainer's got 50k in him as well. So we can hold on to them for 2 or 3 more weeks, maybe make another 100k between them. All right, heading into the midfield crew. Brayshaw, bit of a letdown here. Freo in general. I've got a lot of Freo friends over here. I'm not a Freo supporter, but living in Perth, a lot of my friends are Freo supporters. Very disappointed in the game. They got pretty well smacked, and the scores reflect it. So only 87 for Brayshaw. Had him as my vice captain. This might, as we're going to see in a little bit, might have been, a blessing in disguise, but we'll get to that in a second. Dacos 89 was tagged, still got an 89, so I'm reasonably happy with that. He had a hard tag, he got an 89. It wasn't a 60 or something, so, speaking of taggers, I believe Bedford might have got a bit injured this week. Could be good for anyone coming up against GWS with some primos in their team coming up. The Shees is back, playing on halfback. What was he? Got 130 last week or something, and this week's 120. So, yep, he is back, and I'm glad that we kept him and didn't trade him out. Sinclair is a little bit of a worry. Was really struggling. Lucky to make that 83. So, we'll take it, but he's very cheap for anyone who wants to jump on. He didn't play that forward role, as people said he was going to. As far as I'm aware, he still played the defensive role. That's what Fan Footy said. He was playing in defence, so even though there was rumours of him, training with the forward groups, he still played in defence. He just didn't get that much of the ball. Petrarca, this was our only trade of the week. We did a straight swap. So if you watched my trade video, you'll know that I was tossing up between Warner and Petrarca. I was struggling to get Petrarca in. I had to get Huswaite early or Bustlinger early to get him in. In the end, with Oliver out, I did a straight swap. I had enough cash in the bank to go straight from Oliver to Petrarca. The fact that Oliver, hopefully all the best Oliver out there. I hope he gets over the issues that he's having soon. I hope he's okay. But for me, when I see mental issues, it just means that he's got other stuff on his mind, and it's probably, if they're going to have to drop him every few weeks for him to, sort out whatever's going on with him, he's not going to be performing at his best, and he's probably not going to be in those top midfielders. So for me, it was a straight swap. It didn't stick to my plan of getting rookies off the field, but we didn't really have any rookies to go down to, so I was pretty happy to get the 129. Yes, I know Warner scored more, so in theory I could have got more by getting Warner, but I'm pretty happy with Petrarca. I think he has a high floor, and as you can see from this game, hopefully he can keep up these. He's had 2 good games in a row now. Hopefully he can keep that up. Baby Ashcroft, Levi Ashcroft, 99. What a little legend. He was smashing it. He was top scorer for like the first half. He was right up the top. When you had a look at fan footy or the scores, he was right up the top for at least the first quarter, and then some of the second quarter. He actually did better he was doing better than some of the other big names like Lachie Neale or his brother for quite some time. I think they both overtook him by the end of the game, but 99 will take that every day. Kicks his cash gen in the backside. Actually, it doesn't do much for his cash gen. His break even's 51, so the sad part, well, the good part would have been I would have had to sell Ashcroft if I wanted to get Petrarca without getting rid of Oliver. If I didn't have so that's where, that kind of worked out for me. Oliver being out, swapped to Petrarca. I saved Ashcroft and he got me a 99. Hewitt, 91, very nice. Enjoying what he's doing as an Eagles supporter. His time on ground looked a bit shaky early, but it picked up by the end of the game, and and that's a good score. Couple of goals in that, so that's very nice. A cash gen, what's he at? 6, so that's very nice. Lindsay, a 56. We're not going to complain. He is a rookie. How's his cash gen? He's at break even 14, so a little bit dangerous having him on the field. But I still think he's got money to make, and out of my other rookies, he's probably still the safest to have on the field. Kako got a 60, one of his better scores of the season so far. If I had had him on the field, I could have got an extra 4 points, but hey, it's 4 points. Corey Warner was actually on this score at during the third quarter, and I was like, he was going to have his best score ever, his best rookie score ever, and then they subbed him out. So, yes, as frustration goes, yep, that was pretty frustrating. I'm like, he's going to get a 75, yes! Oh, they subbed him out. Okay. Henderson's still sitting around doing nothing. Now, here's where the big Maxi gone. So, the blessing in disguise was Brayshaw only got 87, so I didn't have to decide whether to take Brayshaw's score or not. It was no way. It was like, all right, we're going to roll with Gawn against the Eagles, against Flynn, and he annihilated them. I think he had over 30 possessions and over 20 contested possessions. It was brutal. And watching him, he seemed to be everywhere, like marking it. He looked like not a 30-year-old. He looked like a 22-year-old running around there. So good old Maxi, 198. Surely they could have scaled it up to 200, right? Just, come on. Scaling, just give him 200. He's worth it. He's max gone. The Goning got an 80. So down a bit on what we expect from him. Not an absolute tragedy, but down. Rankinine, 138. A very nice score. He has been a great buy-in since we've got him. Has been smashing it. Bailey Smith, a little bit cheeky to his old Western Bulldogs mates on the weekend, but 111, very nice. And Jack McRae. Did we not talk about Jack McRae just last week saying there were people considering getting rid of him or worried? If you were worried, that's 160 points to make you not worried anymore. 160 from a forward player. I can't remember the last time we had a forward that could pump out scores like that. We're very lucky this year, to be honest. Caleb Daniel, 89. For a forward, it's still reasonable. I know we expect a little bit more out of him. Is the She's taken a bit of a wind out of his sails? I'm not too sure. I still don't think it's panic stations right yet. Marriage, 131. Now, if there was there's something for me to smile about watching the Eagles game, is watching this guy taking all the kick-ins and seeing his points rack up. 131, that's a massive score, and he's already at a 430k, and he's got a break-even of 37, so he could potentially crack 500k soon. And why would we get rid of him if he's potentially getting anywhere between 80 and 130? He's going to be staying in the team for quite some time. And Cleary did his business. We weren't able to get rid of Reed because we didn't have anyone to get rid of him, so we went for the loop with Reed. Reed got a 50. We decided not to take it and go for Cleary, who got a 63. Patton didn't play. That's fine. As we said, Reed got a 50. He lost a little bit of money. He lost about 7k. I can live with that. I can live with losing 7K. I mean, but I think this week he's got to break even of 92. He has to go this week. We're not going to lose, 14K. We already lost. We lost about 10K, I think, from his maximum by having to keep him by lack of rookies. The rookie crisis is still here. It looks like it might ease up a little bit, but not a lot in the next few weeks. And then Mr. Flynn, 53. Well, it was against Max Gawn. So, he was never going to score a big score this week. Yes, we would have liked maybe an 80 or a 90, but, it was a Max Gawn, and Max Gawn slaughtered him. The other not huge monster rucks are doing a job on him when they play him. So you have to expect if you get a Gawn or Cherry or someone against him, he's going to be destroyed. So who are the heroes and the villains of the team? It would be easy for me to say the hero was Max Gawn. I mean, with a massive score like that would be the easy pick, I think. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say the hero of the team is Marich with 131, because we all kind of expect Max Gawn to monster over Flynn and get a big score. I don't think many of us expected Marich to get 131, did we? He has been a great buy-in. I mean, we could have gone Humphrey. We went Marich. It's paid off for us. It gives me something to be happy about when I watch the Eagles games. So he's going to get the title of hero, or we called him king of the team last week. Now the villain or the Joker, who's going to be the villain this week? Who did we were thinking of someone. I think it's. I'm going to give the villain to Sinclair. Not only did he get an 83 and I paid $590,000 for him, but now he's so cheap. Everybody else that wants him is going to be able to pick him up. So, I mean, it's probably a little bit rough. He still got an 83. It's not like he got a 40 or something, but he's dropped so much in cash now that he's an easy pickup for anybody else when I paid up for him. So, he had that one big score for me. I paid up and he got like 140 or something. And then it might even be more than that. It might have been like 160. And since then, let's have a look. What did he pay? What was that massive score he got? And 162 he got for us. We paid $592,000 for him. So he's dropped like 60K. And since 118, 108, but the last few weeks, 70, 99, 83. So I guess it's not tragedy. It's not panic stations yet, but you'd like to see him bounce back with 100 plus this week, if you could, please, Sinclair. So that's how we went. Like we said, we had a very good score, and a lot of our primos didn't really perform. Like Zorko could have gone a bit bigger, Roberts could have gone a bit bigger, Brayshaw was definitely down, Dacos was down, Sinclair is down, and so, and Caleb Daniel was down. We still haven't had a match where all our primos seem to go big at the same time. That just might not happen the entire season. That's what the luck in Supercoach is, but if they do, it shows that our team has potential to go big. So for this week, should we talk about, maybe we'll do vice captain and captain options first. Let me just look at the game. Let's bring this over here so we can kind of see what games. Okay, so the first game's Fremantle Collingwood. So I think that's an easy vice captain for either Brayshaw or Dacos. Who should we go for? I think it's almost flip a coin. Will Fremantle tag Dacos, and will Collingwood tag Brayshaw? These are the questions for this week. I'm not 100% sure on either of those things. I don't think they're either really hard tagging type teams. So maybe we go Dacos. Maybe we go Dacos. It's at home. It's at Fremantle home. Maybe they want to bounce back after last week. I'm not too sure. Fremantle worry me a little bit. I'm worried for my Fremantle friends. They look like a really good team on paper, but they just can't seem to put it together on match day. And then, how do we go past? We just chuck it on Maxi again, right? This week he's got Hawthorn, he's got Meek. Meek's actually been pretty good. He's certainly not very, very meek. Boom. So he, I would say, he seems an easy 100 plus. Maxi Gawn in his current form, I would think that's probably going to be the best selection for my team. As for trades, we won't go into trades too much because we'll be putting out a trade video probably tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. In that trade video, I will go through all of the upgrades and downgrade options for this week, not just for my team, but for the community in general. Today, we're just going to do my team. This is the Shauno team review. So what am I thinking this week? Well, I'm thinking Murphy Reid has to go, right? He's got a break even of 92. It's the highest break even in the team. He's going to lose a lot of cash. Now, he did awesome for us making cash, but that has dried up now, and I don't want to lose. I mean, if he came out and got another 30 again, he'd lose almost like 30k. So put him in the middle. I think the very obvious choice is Hustwaite. I thought Hustwaite was going to be good, and he has been very good. He was the one that, if you watched my trade video last week, I said that I was more keen on him than Buslinger, and it paid off. So, I'm just saying. Not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying I did give a good advice last week, and the last few weeks I think I've given pretty good advice in the old trade video. So, make sure you keep an eye out for that one. Like I said, probably might even come out later today if I have some time, but if not, tomorrow. And I'll go through who the best options are, I think, overall. So Hustwaite down. Now, I don't really think there are any other options. Now, we have a few options on the horizon, which I'll go through in the trade video, but he is the only one this week, which is kind of disappointing because I really want to use... I still got 3 boosts, and I really would like to use them. If there was another rookie on the bubble that looked good, I'd snap him up. But there doesn't seem to be anybody else out there. The good thing, though, Hustwaite looks really good. Now, we know he's in the team for Connor Nash. He'll be back in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, I think it is. So he should have... We're predicting he'll have 2 price rises, but he's got an 82. He's got a negative 83 break even, which is one of the bigger ones we've seen this season. And so he's got a 72 and an 82. He's an inside bull midfielder playing in the guts. He looks really good. Let's have a quick look at his heat map, and I'll show you. I really like him, and we hope that he gets to keep his spot when Nash comes back, because he looks really good. He looks really good. Where is he? Here he is, Henry Hustwaite, Supercoach. So if we have a bit of a look at his heat map, look at that, right in the guts. So as rookies go, that's a sweet, sweet heat map. That's what you like to see. He's going to have a shocking game to get less than a 50 or a 60, because he's just going to be around the ball the whole match. So I really like him. I hope he plays longer. I think he's almost the best option for on field that we have. I know Ashcroft and Hewitt both scored more than him this week, but I think his role is a lot more consistent for reasonable scoring. Ashcroft could get a 40, Hewitt could get a 40 next week. I think Hustwaite is going to get a 60 or a 70 minimum every week unless there's a disaster or he's subbed out or something like that. I was a bit worried that he might have been made the sub this week, which is why we didn't go early on him, and we had the option of the Oliver, Oliver de Petrarca, which stopped me also having to do that really risky thing of taking rookies early. I mean, I had a really good feeling he was going to get a good score. I thought he might even get more than 80. I thought in my head that he might actually get 100, but I was also worried he can get injured, he can be the sub, all types of stuff can happen. So we've held off to him this week. We did the right thing. So now that gives us 217,000 in the bank. Now, what do we do now? We can't really afford anyone decent. Like, we don't want to get rid of... I had to think about getting rid of Bice, but he's averaging 84, and this is his first like down game. So this is the lowest game he's had so far. He had a 50 for his first game, and this is his 49 is his lowest score. Between that, he's had a 96, a 124, 89, 79, 100. So I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps back up to an 80 or 80 plus score next week. So his break even is not fantastic. It's at 71. So he's not really going to make us much more money. He's almost cashed out the money, but he's fairly reliable on field. Not completely reliable. He's still a rookie, but he's pretty reliable. Reed and Trainer, they've still got money to make. I can't trade them now. I kept them both. Now it's not the time to sell. If you kept them, you got to keep them now. Don't care even if another rookie was on the bubble this week, I'd be tempted still not to get rid of them. Not unless you could get them into flex or something like that. They've still got money to make. I think they've at least got 100k between them. So it looks like these boys, unless there's a really good rookie like in a couple of weeks' time, are going to be right through into the buys for me, and they're just going to have to make as much money as they can, which is fine. I've already got these two boys, Sheasel and Sinclair, which I can swing back into the back line if I get a rookie in the midfield that I need, or if I need to sell them. If I need to sell them and get a rookie in the midfield, I have a lot of flexibility. So I don't want to get rid of Ashcroft. He's just kicked his bit more money to be made here. Hewitt looks like he can make more money. Hustwaite, obviously we just got him in. Lindsay, break even at 14, still going to make some money. Kako can still make some money here. Henderson, well, chucking that 200k on Henderson gets me nothing, so he's going to have to live with the way it is. Obviously not going to do anything here in the rucks. And down here in the forward line, I'm not thinking Cleary. He's still got negative 12 break even, so he's still got money to be made. And Corey Warner over here, well, I would like to get rid of Corey Warner, especially considering he was subbed out the last half last week, but his break-even is only 20. And if I put 200k on top of him, I still don't think I can get anyone. If we go to players I can afford, so for 440, there's nobody really here that I want in the forward line. There's nobody which I would think, like we've discussed before. I mean, well, there's Dylan. Dylan Moore got a 39. Wow. If you went for him thinking he might be back to his form of last year, that hurt. There's nobody there really in the forward line. And if we look in the midfield, I mean, there's nobody there. If I thought Jai Simpson could be a top 6 forward, I might go there, but he has a low floor of 50, 70, 60. He will get you hundreds. He doesn't have a massive ceiling, and he has a low floor. And I kind of think my forward line's kind of already sorted, right? So there's nobody really that I want there. I mean, Joel Frazier, or Frazier, however you say it. I just don't see anybody here that I like. Jack Viney, if you want to take a risk, if you thought that Oliver wasn't going to play, Viney. When Oliver doesn't play, Viney usually steps up. Ned Long missed the boat on that one at $3.90. So there's nobody really that I can afford at this price. So I was looking at it last night after the game opened, and I'm looking at Flynn. So Flynn only got a 63. He's got a break even of 68. Now, this might be the time to jump off. We bought him in. We got him at he had his cheapest price at 260. So he's made us 120k. Now, if he comes out next week and gets a 73, well, he's been getting closer to, what did he get? He got 187, 140, 153. And that 53, we know it's Max Gawn, okay? So let's even say he gets 100. Here they predicted him to get 73, and he's only going to go up 2k. Let's say he gets 100. So then he's going to go up about 14k, 15k. A week after, say he gets another 100, they've said 73 and 93. If he does happen to score what they've said, and don't forget, he's got Nank and then Marshall, what's the Adelaide boy's name? It'll come to me in a second. So there's no easy matchups coming here. So if he gets 100, that'd be pretty good. But if he went the way they've set it here, he's only going to be going the next 3 or 4 weeks up about 8k. So let's give him, let's say he comes out and gets hundreds. Let's say he goes up 20k. Is that enough to keep him? So I'm in kind of two minds. I'm thinking he's not actually going to go up too much more. Like we were hoping he might be able to jump, a little bit more. If he scores what they predicted here, he's going to max out at the time of his buy at about 410k. So what's that? That's another 30k. So over a lot of weeks, though, over 6 weeks. Is it more beneficial for me to get a primo in the team now? I know it goes against my theory of getting rookies off the field, but we kind of class him as a rookie because he was 260k. He was never a keeper. He is blocking, making it very hard for the flexibility of our team. So I'm considering just cashing in my 120k. So who can we afford? We got 600k. We can pretty much get almost, well, not anyone. Obviously the Bonts and the Zach Butters and the Cherries of the world are out of our reach. But who can we afford? So there's some very, very good players though that we can afford. We'll leave that flex position open so we can pretty much see whoever we want. Like we can look at Dunkley. Now I still want to go value. Now we're not going to spend the full 600k. We're going to try and get the best value player and keep some money in the bank. Again, with this theory of having enough money to hopefully go one up, one down. And if we have an opportunity to use a boost, if there's 2 good rookies on the bubble, we'll go 2 down and grab 1 up next week. So Dunkley at 520, I think, is a very viable option. That would leave us 81k in the bank. So that's one option. I want a mid. Jordan Dawson, I was pretty keen on him last week at 500k, and look at him, he made a beautiful comeback. Quite a few of these players that were bottomed out, the Petrarcas, the Warners, the Dawsons, all had big weeks. So I think he's still very affordable at 521k. Oh, sorry, guys. There we go, at 521k. I think he's still very affordable at 521k. He started off the season at 550, so he's still, 30k cheaper than what he was at the beginning of the season, where we thought he was a pretty good deal. And he scored 156, which is his highest so far. But if you're going to jump on, now's going to be the time, because if he gets 100 this week, he's going to go up another 14, 100 a week after. He's going to be over I mean, maybe you could wait one more week, but if you waited 2 weeks, he's going to be up over 550k, which you probably don't want to pay that for him. So let's have a look. We can do, we'll come back to that. Sorry that I didn't have it set up like this, guys, so you couldn't really see what's going on. I apologise for that. Lachie Neale at 580. I would love Lachie Neale in my team, but would only leave me 20k. So with 20k, that means next week there's no chance of me getting a primo. There's no chance of me going one down, one up. So I would really like him in the team, but I think I want someone who's better value. Sarong's good value, but 550 again at the top end of that. I have to say, I feel sorry for Rosie owners, but for myself, as someone who traded him out and he's been going bang ever since, I was kind of glad to see a 78 there. Makes his break even higher, keeps him a low price. So if you want him in the future. Zach Merritt, we can afford Zach Merritt, but it would take all our money. And what a beautiful 172. And at some point, I probably do want him in my team, but I still want to stick with that the money, getting the cheapo option. I think Max Holmes. Surely this has to be considered. He hasn't had the best of runs lately, and he is a bit susceptible to a tag. But wow, I mean, he's super cheap now. Start of the season at 530. He got 125, 91, 127, 72, 147. In the last 3 weeks have been a little bit down. And what's his break even? Break even 128. So he might even go down more next week. So I don't think I'll get him. Now, this is the one I'm very much considering. Now, Chad Warner, we were considering getting him last week, and yes, I know he can have down games. He's got a low floor. He's had a 54, 81, 71, and a 78. That wouldn't be great. I've also kind of completed my forward line, so he would be either M6 or mid 8, M8 or F6, but I don't mind it. I think at this price at 488, if we got him, we'd still have 114k in the bank. Now he's also I don't think a lot of people have him. Let's go. Break even of 26. So this is last week he was at 488 461 last week, which was so cheap, and we certainly considered getting him. We just thought Petrarca was a slightly better pick, and we probably would have got him if the Oliver option wasn't there. We probably would have ended up going with him, but we had the Oliver option. We got Petrarca, who did well. I mean, it's only 11 points difference between the two of them. We're not unhappy, that's for sure. But here he went out, smashed a 140. So 121 and a 140 in the last 2 weeks. So we know if I get him, he's going to get a 70 next week. But, if he gets 100, he's going to go up 30k. And they certainly don't want to pay 520 for him. But under 500k, I think he's a bit of a bargain. So I think it's him or Holmes. And considering Holmes is going down, I might be able to pick up Holmes for 450 next week. So I think this is what I'm considering doing, crew. Maybe you think I'm crazy for getting rid of Flynn, who potentially can get me 100 every week, and we saw that he can get a big 100 occasionally. But I'm just thinking that I've got we're calling him a primo. We've got 100k in the bank, which lets me potentially get another, if I do a downgrade next week and pick up another 100 and something thousand, if I can pick up another 100k on top of that and then dump that on top of another rookie, maybe I can upgrade. Maybe I'll have enough to upgrade to another primo or a fallen primo. I mean, I don't really know if I call this getting a rookie off the field. Do we class Finn as a rookie? We bought him as at rookie price, but more as a mid-pricer to get us steady scores. I don't think Flynn has the potential for as many spike scores. We saw he did get that big 130 or 140, but I think Warner's in the guts, and he is, their number one midfielder at the moment. One thing that does worry me a little bit is if we look at the buys, I think it's round 14 buys. I have a lot of Sydney players. I got Roberts, I got Bice, I got Warner and Patton down here, I got Cleary, and I would have Warner. So that's a lot of Sydney players. And considering I might want Mills in a couple of weeks too. But when I thought about this, I was like, well, Bice looks like a really good option, Bice to Mills, right? Almost a straight flop. I can make money. If Mills comes back and plays midfield, I think he's 350k. So I'll actually make money by going Bice to Mills. So that way I don't add another Sydney player. I just replace it. So I'm not doing anything with Roberts. So when the buys come, I'd have two here. And then I'd still have Warner. But both this Cleary, Corey, Warner and Patton can all be subbed out. I'd assume Cleary will be gone by then. I'll cull him, and hopefully Warner will be gone then. He'll be culled as well. So it looks bad, but maybe by the time it comes around, it's not too bad. Yeah, there's Callum Mills, 357. If he comes back and plays well, like if he came back this week and played well and I got him, obviously I want to have a look at him for a few weeks and make sure he's got that right role and he's not like playing injured or anything. You'd make 25k. You make 20k, and you'd have pretty much a primo midfielder in the back line there. I mean, obviously the choice, we can also do that with Reed or Trainer, but I feel if I get Warner, I'm going to have too many Sydney players in the team. It also means later on in the season, if Goulden comes back and starts smashing it, I probably, if it's after buys, it doesn't matter though, right? He won't be back before the buys, so that won't matter at all. So anyway, that's what we're thinking, crew. I think we'll call the video there. Tell me what you think. Please, if you've still watching, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me who you think you're trading in. Who are your vice captain and captain choices? How do you think? Do you think I can make the top 1% with this team? I'm pretty happy. I feel we're going in the right direction. We'd just like to see a few more rookies come up over the next few weeks before the buy, so we could get a little bit more cash. And some of these slightly useless rookies would be nice. Like Warner would be nice and Kako, I don't want to call Kako useless, but it'd be nice if he scored some more. And Carroll I'd prefer it more than a 37. Anyway, crew, I think we'll call the video there. Hope you all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later. Take it away, Skip.